Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself, Suprit, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for June 18th, 2021. Joined by Abby Maniac here. What's up, Abby?
I'm absolutely fine, Suprit. How about you?
I'm doing good because this is the last, taped episode until we get to, full-time live episodes of Dynamite.
Mm. Yes, finally,
So,
finally.
but there was some, you could say, different type of vibe for this episode, even though it was taped. Like lot of different types of stuff happening in each and every storyline.
Mm, you could say that. You could say that. Mm. If, I thought that this show was, you can say, not at all bad. It was at one level. It was consistent. It was a good show. It was consistent throughout. There wasn't probably a point where it went, through the roof, that there was a point that it was fucking amazing and, out of this world. Nothing sort of that probably happened in this show, in my opinion. It was a consistent show throughout, and it wasn't, an easy watch this week. It went past, it flowed, in my opinion, too.
But let's get to the card, man. So they had a little MMA fight with Hager and Wardlow, and they also had a handicap match with Darby Allin going against the Men of the Year. We had a little sit-down interview with Andrade, El Idolo. We had a debut of Brock Anderson with Cody Rhodes, so they were facing the Factory here. And the main event was a six-man. We had the Good Brothers and Matt Jackson, so they were facing Eddie Kingston, Pentagon, and Frankie Kazarian, and so much more. But before that, if you're new to Slam of Wrestling, then make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and make sure to check out our other content that we have been putting for the last week or so. Everything you need will be in the description below. But before we get into Dynamite, Abby, I want to discuss this news, and it's regarding one Braun Strowman. So the other newest signee, Mark Henry, who's now somewhat of a, you could say, also an analyst and also a backstage authority figure, you could say. So he's actually pushing for Braun Strowman to be signed by AEW. So what was your initial thoughts when you heard about this quote unquote report?
Uh, uh, there is nothing wrong, in signing such a, huge superstar, so to speak. He is known, worldwide. WWE has, penetration worldwide. It is a worldwide, promotion, airing, in so many countries. So Braun Strowman is a worldwide entity. There is no doubt about that. And with regards to signing him, it would be a huge plus, absolutely. Getting in fans, and the casual viewer is also, knowing of Braun Strowman, absolutely. If it is, the kids, or it is, the adults, they are knowing of Braun Strowman. The fact is, yes, his booking has been a big, you know, a big, problem with regards to WWE over the recent past. With regards to, I have heard about that train shit, that whatever the fuck they were trying to do with regards to that. But nonetheless, if you put that aside, and also with regards to his past comments, with regards to, his financial guru things, or whatever the fuck he has done in the past. But the fact is that, he is an entity at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, if you are AEW or if you are Tony Khan, if you see, money in him, and if you see that you can, garner ratings, or you can get penetration in various markets, and you can, print money from the guy, and you can also get compelling, programming from the guy. You do not have many big guys in the company at this point. You have, certain 1 2 3 4. If you also want to, you can say, produce certain compelling programming, certain compelling, characters. So you want to have different kind of wrestlers. You have high flyers, you have powerhouses, you have different people, you have different, wrestlers to interact with one another. So Braun Strowman could be a great character to interact with your wrestlers. So I do not think that you should even, think twice before signing him, if all these aspects are getting fulfilled. You would want to sign Braun Strowman. Why not?
But the main issue is the attitude problem, and they can sign him, but the main issue is the attitude problem. And speaking about the booking, you can say that he's a pretty one-dimensional character.
Hmm. But as a booker, that is, your thing, that is your challenge, that is to maximize the strengths and to minimize the weaknesses. That is your thing. You have to do that. You have to make sure of the thing, that how to get the certain character, the certain guy over with the crowd, by maximizing his strengths. Any character, any wrestler is not, a full-fledged, personality in all aspects. The person cannot be A1 grade, promo, cannot be A1 grade in the ring, cannot be a A1 grade, a build. He cannot be everything. Even if he is, getting over with the crowd is another aspect. So it is up to you, the booker, obviously, that how do you maximize their strengths and minimize their weaknesses, so as to get the certain person over with the crowd. That is your thing. You have to make sure of that certain point.
And in
So
ter-
yes.
yeah, and if you want to see the booking, you can literally make him the Andre the Giant of their promotion.
Yes, sure, why not?
Because WWE kind of overexposed him, because at the time he got hot and they really didn't know where to go next. But AEW could kind of protect him, and like I said, in simple words, make him the Andre the Giant, like use him as an attraction rather than making him go after championship and stuff.
Yes, in the initial part, yes, absolutely. They can give him the championship, but at a certain point of time in the future, when they want to, obviously. And when they think that he is over with the crowd, till, at that point of time, it is the perfect time, it is the ideal time to put the title on him. And they have, you know, storylines in their heads, and they have a certain path, a journey in mind for that certain character, then sure, why not, in the future.
Let's see, but like I said, if he does have some attitude problem and he's coming out of that WWE bubble, then he has to be humble. And like you said, the other aspects can be covered and improved by the bookers and the management guys.
Yes.
So that's our thoughts on this potential, you could say signing or rumor of Braun Strowman. But let's quickly get into Dynamite. So they opened up with Wardlow versus Jake Hager. So this was an MMA fight, and this is your one of the matches you could say in the still ongoing feud of the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. And I have to say, man, and I actually, kind of digged this whole MMA field because first off, they did everything they can to make this a, actual MMA fight. You had the MMA cage, you had the MMA, mat, you had officials dressed as, as a actual MMA referee. I actually liked it, and they really did some, you could say, decent job of having an actual MMA fight. So, what did you think about this opening contest we had?
I also like that. I also did this, presentation with regards to, having an MMA fight in a pro wrestling, scenario. So I also did this, whole presentation. Yes, I, knew who was getting over, what has been the pattern from the recent weeks. So, and also, Jake Hager is having an undefeated, uh, you know,
Re-
record in mixed martial arts. So he won't be, going down, obviously. So still, I really like that, the whole presentation, and also, what uh, happened also post match, post fight, whatever you want to call that. Obviously, I, uh, I liked that because of the simple fact that whatever we have been seeing in the past weeks, that got obviously bland, and it this feud is Pinnacle versus Inner Circle is looking like it is being stretched far, far, far fucking wide, because of the simple fact. Yes, we know that you got to have people on screen and giving them screen time, absolutely. But the fact is that yes, this week they did a phenomenal job in getting us invested with this fight, and also what happened post fight, and also the video package with regards to LAX and FTR, which aired in the later part of the show. Brilliant stuff.
and we still had, the quote unquote marks complaining and crying that, this is not a legit MMA fight. Why is Wardlow doing a Hurricane? Like, what else did you expected? And why are you guys acting like you really cared about Wardlow and Hager? But we liked it, and it was okay. So let's talk some highlights. So they actually went 2 rounds. The first round was, they really went with the MMA feel, and even Wardlow was did a really great job, looking like an actual MMA fighter. So as we get to the second round, but yeah, as before we went into the second round, Wardlow was really close to knocking out Hager, and Hager was kind of selling here. And
Hmm.
so the second round was all Hager, and this is where we saw them actually pulling off wrestling moves. Like Hager was going for the ankle lock, and Wardlow, like I said, was pulling off hurricanranas. So at the end, we see Hager locking in his triangle choke, and Wardlow was forced to pass out. So Hager got the win here, and I think the reason was the logical reason is that they didn't want to risk Hager losing, because it kind of would have damaged his reputation of being an actual MMA fighter.
Yes,
So there you go.
absolutely.
Hager 1 year. And by the way, we had cornermen for both the competitors. Jericho accompanied Hager while Sean Spears accompanied Wardlow. So you also talked about the post-match stuff. We had both the some of the faction members coming out and attacking. For example, MJF came out and attacked Jericho. And by the way, before all this chaos was happening, did you notice that there was somewhat of a show of respect between Hager and Wardlow before all this chaos happened?
Yes. They planted seeds for a face turn in the distant future for Wardlow. So that is cool. Uh, you know,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and yeah, so like I said, all the faction members were coming out. We had MJF attacking Jericho. So Sammy Guevara comes out and chases all the heels and especially MJF. So they have set up MJF versus Sammy Guevara for one of the live edition of Dynamite. I think it's on the 30th.
Yes.
So there you go, man. And did you notice the ongoing Twitter feud that MJF and Sammy Guevara had, which kind of escalated?
Hmm. Yeah, yes. There was something with regards to, I guess, Photoshop, and there was something with regards to, I guess, MJF calling out Sammy Guevara with regards to his promo skills. I guess it was probably last week or it was 2 weeks ago. Uh, so uh, that is real. It blurs the line. So it is good if it you know gets hammered home, so to speak, and you know it really gets us invested if escalates to a certain level that is you know fucking unstoppable. So we need more heat, absolutely. uh, let's see
But
how
you
it
but you
goes.
forgot the other stuff that happened. So this was all going on, but you forgot to mention that MJF took this to another level. And he also mentioned Guevara's, past, that little controversy that happened last year.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yes.
and we had Guevara, publicly he acknowledged that, like, why are you bringing up my history? So, did you notice that?
Hmm. Yes. That what makes this thing compelling, and that is what makes us watch professional wrestling, so to speak. When you blur the line between fiction and real. So MJF does that shit, and it gets us invested, and it gets people to you know give money and buy the tickets to watch the match.
And by the way, I thought they were
Let's.
going to, stretch this out till the next pay-per-view, Guevara and MJF.
Hmm. I also thought the same, but they are uh, getting it on a live Dynamite. Let's see, because probably they would be booking a certain match with having also Jericho in the fray for the pay-per-view. So probably they are booking a singles match on Dynamite. Uh, that could be probably one of the reasons, and also the simple fact that they want compelling programming on Dynamite. So what is there, to book? So probably they thought that booking Guevara versus MJF would be, the way to go for the June 30th edition of Dynamite.
And I
Let's
think
see.
And I think Jericho is taking time off, I guess. I heard somewhere.
I don't know. Uh, Moxley is out, then Jericho is out too. I don't know.
Hmm. I think it's
Can they risk
regarding
that?
I think it's regarding that he's going back to tour with Fozzy.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's see. Probably then Moxley would be back, I suppose. Let's
Hmm.
see. Let's see.
But moving on, we had a little promo from the associate or manager, you could say, of Jade Cargill. He is smart Mark Sterling. So they emphasize that smart term here. So he was actually talking about, coming up with plans of monetization, having some brands, some sponsors for Jade Cargill. And yeah, he also talked about her wrestling aspect, like where can the people find her, that she wrestles on Dark, Dynamite, Elevation. And yeah, so what you think about this small pairing that is going on here with Mark Sterling managing Jade Cargill?
Uh, it is. It is. It is what it is, I suppose. And it is not bad. Obviously, he has a presence, and it is good. Obviously, and I guess that it is a short term, I suppose, and it would end sooner rather than later. Uh, I would, I guess that he is a placeholder for someone better, possibly. Let's see who are they, thinking of with regards to having, you know, by the side of Jade Cargill. I don't know. I was, yes, obviously surprised with regards to this pairing, but if this is a temporary thing, then let's see. You know, because obviously she doesn't need you know the Sterling by the side, but let's see. The presentation looks good with regards to having someone by our side. So let's see if they have a plan with regards to having someone else on the side. Then let's see. Right now, we do not see Jade Cargill competing every other week, and we should not, obviously, because that would saturate her character. That would completely kill off whatever she has. So yes, obviously her presence is making sure that she is something, she is someone, obviously, on a Dynamite. But let's see, they are trying to keep her you know as an entity as hot as possible, so that whenever they would be giving her a title shot, she would be obviously getting the championship at one go. She wouldn't be losing first time around. She would get the title at one go, just like Miro did. So let's see what is in the plans for her. Right now, yes, she is competing as he said on dark elevation. So beating opponents and getting the reps in, so to speak. So let's see.
They really need to stretch it out, like give they really don't have to, there's no reason to put her in the title scene for at least the next 3 months.
Yes, and they would not. They would not. Right now, they would be stretching the title reign of Brett Baker. So right now, they should be thinking of some compelling, storyline with regards to what can we, put forth on Jade Cargill, but that they have to come with in their heads that who can they pair up with regards to even a long stretch story. If they want to do a story on even on dark or dark elevation, I can understand that why would you care, or why would you give a fuck with regards to having a storyline on dark or dark elevation. But you know if you have a story or if you are competing there, then probably people would get invested. If you have a story, or if you are competing on dark and dark elevation, and then you cut a promo on Dynamite with regards to that something, and then you are getting the audience from Dynamite to dark elevation, that could probably help something. Because such promos like this, which aired this week, that is typical 101 bullshit. So that probably wouldn't help so much. But if there is a story, or if there is someone, you attack someone, or someone attacks you, or something, some interaction, probably that would help. Then you have a story, and their storyline is going on on dark elevation, so that could probably help. you know that should be with regards to only the competitors. You did that on the independent scene, so why couldn't you do that on dark and dark elevation? So just an idea, you know, throwing it out there.
Let's see. Up next, we had Orange Cassidy. So he was facing Cezar Bononi, who is part of the Wingman faction. So there's a little story going on that they kind of want Orange Cassidy in their faction, something like that. So the match was, it was just there. We had some little comedy spots here with the Wingmen. Trying. They had Ryan Nemeth. He was actually spraying, that cold spray or tan spray, you could say, all over Orange Cassidy. So at the end, we had the best friends getting involved and trying to get rid of the Wingman faction. So Orange Punch to Cesar Bononi got the win, and that's pretty much it. Nothing else to say.
Just an as you said, it was an entertaining match, so to speak, an entertaining segment, so to speak. This was basically booked with regards to having Orange Cassidy's presence on television. That was basically the, you can say, the objective with regards to having this match, so to speak. There was nothing compelling. you know there was, I do not see anything in with regards to the Wingmen having a certain threat with regards to the best friends. I did not see that anywhere with regards to uh, any even a sliver of a threat from the Wingmen. Yes, as you said, that there was some offense from Cesar Bononi in this match, but at the end, Cassidy got the victory as we all predicted, so to speak. So nothing much to say.
And they are trying to kind of get these guys over. I'm talking about the Wingmen.
Yes, but if you are trying to get these guys over, and obviously yes, giving these guys TV presence, so to speak, so a little threat could do wonders for these guys. Nothing much. Or you can also book a certain compelling angle with regards to you know uh, the the woman in this whole scenario. The wingman could uh, you know I know it is very 90s, but they can do that to make it compelling, to kidnap or whatever the fuck they want to do. It is, yes, I know it is very 90s or whatever, it is very cliche, but the fact is that yes, it is compelling, content, and it gets the people invested. Then the best friends or Orange Cassidy is fighting, to get her back,
Yeah, that's
from, yes,
they could do
you were
something
saying.
like that if they want to get
Hmm.
these guys over, just to have other guys, get wins.
Yes, and it would help both the factions.
And
They could book that.
or let's see, man, because Rampage is coming around, and
Hmm.
you can use this alternate talents over there too if you want to make some compelling storylines.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, man, anything else you want to add before we move into the next part?
Let's move to the next part.
So we had a interview with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So she was obviously being interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and they were kind of talking about the last time, the last thing that happened, in that celebration with Nyla Rose, completely messing it up. So here comes Vicky Guerrero. So they had a little back and forth. So Vicky Guerrero actually, said that she is actually going to wrestle. Like like Tony Khan gave her somewhat of a permission to book a match. So the match is that Reba and Britt Baker will be facing Nyla Rose and herself in a tag match. So I think this is happening next week, right?
Uh, I guess so.
There
It
you
is
go.
happening. Yes,
There you go. I don't know if it's Vicky Guerrero is actually going to wrestle, but yeah, they are trying to further this story.
yes. They're trying to further this story, and they would possibly book this championship match between Nyla Rose and Britt Baker on a live edition of Dynamite. Possibly, the Road Rager one, I suppose. So let's see. And they are or they have, I should say, they have booked Rebel or Reba as a non-wrestler. We know that she is a wrestler, but they have booked her character in such a way that she is a non-wrestler. So, having her on the side of Britt Baker and, Vicky Guerrero on the side of Nyla Rose, you can say that it kind of evens off, so to speak. So, let's see how they book this, sports entertainment shit
And
next week.
they are, really missing the boat on, mentioning the small story. I talked about that Nyla Rose actually beat Britt Baker, months ago in that women's tournament they had. So if they mentioned that, it would be somewhat of a compelling feud here.
Yes, I guess that they did, but not so much as they should, just like many things that they do. Uh, Excalibur, I guess they did as expected. I guess last week or probably 2 weeks ago, he did mention this fact. So, it was just thrown away,
And if that's the
not
case, yeah,
hammered home.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then over the coming weeks, that they will put in more effort into mentioning all those facts and stories, you could say.
Yes, yes, and they should and they would, because that would only put over Britt Baker more, that she lost and now she got one back. So that also gets Britt Baker over in a way. So I expect that the said fact would be uh, hammered home in the coming time. Absolutely.
But moving on, we had Darby Allin. So he was having a 2-on-1 handicap match with the Man of the Year. We have an official name for Scorpio Sky and All Ego Ethan Page. So this was a little fun match. We had, kind of a little story-driven match here. So announcers were, putting in a lot of effort, talking about the history of Ethan Page and Darby Allin. And yeah, like I said, really great story driven match. And Darby Allin did had a lot of offense, especially at the end where it looked like he was going to win, when he introduced that zip line to tie Ethan Page, and that took him out. And there were some great near falls on Scorpio Sky, but here comes Page, and he was able to escape by using a plier and getting himself free. So at the end, we get to Ethan Page. Sorry, it was Darby Allin was about to finish up Scorpio Sky for good with a coffin drop, but here comes Ethan Page. So the legal man was Page. He hits his ego's edge finisher to get the win, and that was it. So what you think about this match and the story going on with all the men involved?
Yep, I thought that this was a very entertaining and competitive bout, so to speak. And it should have been, obviously, because they have booked Darby Allin as one of their top baby faces of the company, and the fact that he has been the main event player, so to speak, of the promotion. So it wasn't a question or a doubt in our minds that the fact that he would be you know anything less that what we saw in this match, that he got too close to the victory, but at the end he wasn't. Yes, absolutely, because the fact that that Darby Allin and Sting defeated Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky at Double or Nothing, that should be the center point. Absolutely, that Sting was a difference factor, and it would be in the future that we would see at some point of time that Darby Allin would be facing Sting at some point, of time in the future.
Do you really
We have
think? Do
to.
you really think they are going into that direction? Possibly.
Right now, you know I saw the said theory on Twitter, but I do not know. Yes, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky are trying to draw a wedge, so to speak, between the two, and they are trying to uh, say that to Darby Allin that you were able to hold on to the TNT championship only because of Sting, and it was not on your own volition, on your own talent. So that is why this handicap match came to being. But I still do not know that is it the way to go, that is it happening right now, that Sting versus Darby Allin is happening right now. I do not think so. It is happening right now.
But yeah, if they don't do Sting versus Darby Allin, then they need to get through a singles match between Ethan Page and Darby Allin, because they are really putting in that effort to tell us the history between these two and saying that it is a big blood feud.
Yes, and possibly that is the way to go at this point.
At least we are figuring out that Darby Allin does have something to do, keeping him away from the title scenes and having him some big feuds.
Yes, yes. As of this point, that is the only thing that is making sense. That Darby Allin would be facing All Ego Ethan Page, and possibly Sting would be, facing Scorpio Sky at some point of time. Possibly at Dynamite, possibly at pay per view. Let's see what the scenario they put forth with regards to these guys. And at this for this match, they only you know uh, gave us the said story that the numbers advantage got too much for Darby Allin at the end.
And it was a great choice that that Darby didn't win here, because it would have made the
Yes,
heels even much weaker. Like, they already lost a tag match at the pay-per-view. Now
yes,
at least it was a easy spot to get them at least one victory over that this in this whole entire feud.
yes, and it also makes sense. It didn't look illogical booking, or if you go back to, I guess, 2012 or 2013, there were matches with regards to CM Punk versus The Shield, handicap matches, and we saw CM Punk winning. Does it make logic?
No, it
It doesn't
doesn't.
make logic. But it was a top baby face of the company. But you have to make sense. It should make sense. So you should think that way, that it makes sense and it doesn't bury anyone. So handicap match, Shield versus CM Punk, and CM Punk is winning the bout and going away. And the story is not even there is some conflict within the Shield. So what the fuck are you trying to accomplish here? Doesn't
Yes,
make sense.
at least there was the booking here for this match was at least somewhat of a logical step, you
Yes,
could say.
yes, absolutely.
Moving on, we had a segment involving Jungle Boy where he was being interviewed, but it was interrupted by Don Callis, Kenny Omega, and Nakazawa. So they actually came in via that golf cart, and Kenny Omega was actually ready for a fight, saying that he is just wearing his casuals, not wearing his suit, his watches, etc., etc. He wanted a legit fight, like a street fight, and he was actually prompting Jungle Boy to give him a punch or a single right. So Jungle Boy was kind of hesitating, but Omega made the offer even easier. Like, he had his hands behind his back. So Jungle Boy was ready to give him a big punch, but from the back it was Nakazawa who actually attacked Jungle Boy. So this was a setup from the get-go. So Omega was beating him around that whole set, you could say, or backstage area. But Jungle Boy started to fight back, and Nakazawa actually stopped him. So this allowed both Callis and Omega to leave. So Nakazawa was also about to do the same thing, but Omega actually kicked him out of the card, which was hilarious. So Omega and Callis escaped, and that's it. So this was the last, you could say, thing that they do before the big match next week. So thoughts on this?
uh, this is goofy shit. I am not a very big fan with regards to it, but it is what it is. In contrast to the things which are happening on Impact Wrestling, it is fucking night and day. They are booking with regards to firing Don Callis, and they fired Sammy Callahan, and now he is back. And Slammiversary, Kenny Omega versus Sammy Callahan for the Impact World Championship would be happening. So very serious shit involved there. And here, yes, it is some goofy shit, but it is what it is. Looking forward to watching the match, but with regards to getting the fans invested, with regards to having heat between two people, or two people disliking one another, or with regards to anything, whether it's money or jealousy, with regards to anything, there isn't anything to get us invested. Just the simple fact that it would be a great match, and it is two great good competitors going at it on a live edition of Dynamite. And they also have said that in the past edition of Saturday Night Dynamite, title changed hands, and tease was this match, and blah blah blah. All right, we will watch this match. But the fact that getting us invested, they didn't gave so much shit to getting us invested, and you know being serious, and having heat among two gentlemen or competitors, dislike or something like that. There is right now there is nothing.
I think
Let's
this
see.
whole feud is designed to just get Jungle Boy to the next level. Like, I want to give you
Hmm.
an example. Remember when they gave Darby Allin his first world title shot against Chris Jericho? He was getting over, but that match made him get to, that match established him as, a big star. So, same thing
Hmm.
could happen with Jungle Boy. And if he's going against Kenny Omega, then a great match could really establish him as the next big thing, or you could say the legit star in AEW.
Hmm. Yes, yes, that could be, that would be probably the mindset. But the simple fact is that uh, you know getting the fans invested is so important in the overall scheme of things. So probably you could you know take that mindset that possibly Kenny Omega wasn't giving a fuck because it is just a rookie, or it is Jungle Boy who he is going to face for the world championship. But the other side, who is Jungle Boy, he is getting a title shot. So probably he is, I guess he is not that good on the microphone possibly. But the fact is that he could have made sure that he fucking wants the world championship. So he could have had possibly sit down interview, or a backstage segment, or possibly in ring promo, to make sure that he wants that championship, to make us care that he wants that championship. The baby face promo, that I want that championship, and making sure that getting the fans to his side, that the fact hammering it home, the fact that that I am not that, I'm not the best bout machine, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is that I have the hunger, I have the desire, you know. So, to, capture the world championship, and I will make sure that Kenny Omega doesn't walk out of Saturday Night Dynamite with the world championship, stuff like that, you know. And he's a
So
fucking phony. There could have been something,
yeah,
you know.
so at this point we have to just wait for that video package, because they automatically do it for those road to shows, and they are
Yes,
AW is just waiting for the moment itself. Like they already know that Jungle Boy is going to be automatically over with the crowd, and everything is going to go away from there.
yes.
But let's
Take
see,
it for
man.
granted.
Let's say I think they're going to hit a home run, hopefully, with a Jungle Boy.
Mm.
But moving on, we had an interview segment. This was actually a sit down with Andrade El Idolo, the new signing. So he had a little sit down interview with JR. Uh, yeah, man, they actually had Andrade. The main focus was to have Andrade actually talk, and he did a fine job, you could say. And whenever he was even speaking in, Spanish, they also made sure we had little subtitles. So he was being talked about why he came to AEW. He said he want to be a big star. He already said that he now wants to be the face of AEW, now that was previously the face of just Lucha Libre. So he said that he has intentions to being, either the TNT champion or the world champion, and he has actually a big surprise, and that was the cliffhanger. Also talked about why aligned with Vicky Guerrero, and also he mentioned, didn't forget to mention that it's because of the history. Vicky Guerrero is a smart, businesswoman, and the family history with Eddie Guerrero, etc., etc. But the main thing is the surprise element. So, if you are a hardcore fan, two things stick out. Either he's bringing out, his old Los Ingobernables, whichever version it could be, to AW, or the obvious other choice is that Tia Trinidad could be finally coming to AW. So that could be one of the scenarios they are heading towards.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that it is the first one.
The faction one.
Yes,
Yes, because in that small interview plus video package, you could say he was seen, wearing a proper, outlandish, you could say, suit with that mafia type gloves, and obviously that mask that is known in his faction. So it could be a cool element, because outside of Bullet Club, that is a well-known entity if you are a hardcore fan.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
And that would also, bridge the gap, so to speak, between the, promotions, New Japan and, AW, with regards to the programming and the, dream scenarios which we were, you know, booking, you know, dream booking, so to speak. Uh, it could very well, take place. Let's see. You know, there is something in store. Let's see.
they are really trying to, telling us, the audience, that Andrade Elidilo is a legit signing. By the way, did you heard that he is now given creative control?
Yes, I uh, I also talked about possibly it was in the initial talks with Tony Khan that he wanted uh, creative control. So possibly he would have gotten it. To what extent, we do not know, but yes, to some extent, obviously. Yes, he is a legit star. So
And will this creative control is the thing that will bring in, you mentioned Charlotte Flair to AEW.
uh, let's see. Let's see.
But yeah,
Anything can
man.
happen.
Yeah, but yeah, man, the creative control story is really makes us wonder that Tony Khan is really serious about Andrade. That he's not he just he's not wanting to make Andrade one of the guys. He wants him to make this the guy of the company.
Yes. Yes.
But let's see,
One
man.
of the guys, absolutely.
Let's see if the surprise element could be really intriguing, and let's see where this goes. But moving on, we had Cody Rhodes and Brock Anderson. This was the debut of Brock Anderson, the son of Arn Anderson. So they're facing the factory members, QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. So this was yet another fun tag match on Dynamite, and the main highlight you could say is that Brock Anderson and is actually really good in the ring, and he's showing some elements of his father. So the heel team, that is Marshall and Aaron Solo, especially QT Marshall, was doing a great job and making the newcomer Brock Anderson look really good in the ring, and also at the same time showing off the getting legit heat in this match. So what you think about this match and the performance from Brock Anderson?
Yes, I thought that this one was also an entertaining and competitive bout between the two teams, and they also gave us this tidbit. The commentators that QT Marshall or Marshall, whatever, he trained Brock Anderson. So that was a tidbit with regards to what they told us with the match. And right now they are gunning towards Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall facing one another in a strap match at AEW Road Rage around July 7th, I suppose. And you know this is gunning towards that. And with uh, regards to what you said of Brock Anderson, he looked good in the ring. There wasn't any flaw with regards to him. Being in the ring, he looked fluid and he looked good, and his presentation is you know uh, they it is very uh, you can say forced, possibly, or you can say very uh, forced, similar to his father. They have done it forcefully, because they want to make sure that that Arn Anderson is his father. So they have given his son a similar look, with his attire and facial hair, everything very similar look. So, and in this match, QT and Solo isolated Brock Anderson at one point, and they took advantage, so to speak, of his inexperience, so to speak, of his TV wrestling. But at the end, he got the victory with a jackknife roll up. So that also protected the heels, that is the factory of uh, as the marks say, being buried. They didn't get buried because they got pinned with a roll up, the jackknife roll up. So that protects them from being put down
You can
in a
technically
clean way.
yeah, technically they are kind of buried. I'm talking about the factory. And that in mind, it's time that when Rampage comes around, move these guys over there if you want to bring them on TV. And that is a logical step. Move the factory members over to Rampage.
Uh, that is, up to obviously the, the booker and what, the storyline would, they would be, be at that point of time. So let's see, how would they, go about that, obviously. But let's see, let's see.
But moving forward, we had this ongoing thing with Team Taz. So they are still having problems with Hangman Page. So Taz was bringing up that one of the reasons that there is a downfall in Team Taz is, the obvious thing going on with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. So Taz mentioned this and told that they need to clear this up. So Powerhouse Hobbs picks up saying that the problem between the two guys is also affecting him and his matches. So that is the reason why he lost that tag match last week. So we had a situation where Taz actually had Powerhouse Hobbs. So he said that he's going to have a match with Hangman Page. So this was a challenge thrown towards Page. So later on in a segment, Page actually accepted. So we are getting this, I think, next week. Powerhouse
Hmm.
Hobbs versus Hangman Page. So this is the final nail in the coffin, you could say, between this small feud between Page and Team Taz. Also, um, in the small interview that Page was doing, so he was questioned about the world title again. So it is looking like it is going to happen sooner now that he is going after Kenny Omega finally after all these months. And there you go.
Hmm. Yes, let's see, possibly, the scenario with regards to Team Taz, you know, we would get a match with regards to possibly, Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. We would get an update with regards to that when would finally would it, take place. And, with regards to you saying that Kenny Omega and, Hangman Page facing one another, yes, it would be happening soon. Probably at the pay-per-view, of course. It would happen at a pay-per-view. So, will it happen at the next pay-per-view? Possibly,
And speaking
because
about
at the last pay-per-view, he got a monstrous, reaction. So, it is highly likely that, the officials would want to pounce on the said, momentum as soon as possible. So they would, want to book the match, as soon as possible. So possibly they would be booking the set match on the next pay-per-view.
basically, Hangman Page is ready. He's over. You got wins
Yes,
under his belt. He's ready.
yes, he's ready.
And speaking about Kenny Omega, I got something about him that I really want to discuss, but I think it would be better. It's a big thing that if I saved it for next week's review. So that's your
Hmm.
cliffhanger, reviewers. But let's move on. Let's talk about Penelope Ford versus Julia Hart. So Penelope is back on TV after you could say after Kip Sabian was written off TV because of he really has a legit injury for over his shoulder or arm, you could say. So Penelope is back. She was facing Julia Hart, who recently has been, you could say, managing or been a valet for the Varsity Blondes. So match was, it was there. So Penelope, got the win because She is kind of a established entity in the women's division. So she won via submission, and we had a little post-match stuff where she was not ready to, you could say, release the submission, which prompted the Varsity Blondes to help Julia Hart. So all of a sudden, here comes Miro, the TNT champion. So he was mentioning Kip Sabian he was actually saying to Penelope, where is Kip Sabian? So he then, started marching towards the ring, and he quickly went after Griff Garrison, and he took him out. So here comes Brian Pillman with a flying crossbody, and we had a big brawl. So this could be, setting up things for TNT championship match between these two. Which, and is it announced for next week or one of these 2 weeks?
I guess not at the moment, but it possibly will be soon.
Yeah, and I think it was you that mentioned is that Brian Pillman is kind of on a momentum because of that Dark Side of the Ring documentary airing, and he's kind of getting
Yes.
over with the fans as well. So that's why he's being featured on TV more, especially as a tag team. So now why not try it with a singles opportunity with the TNT title shot?
Yes, absolutely.
And by
And
the
they are doing that.
by the way, how did you feel when they use this women's match just to uh, uh, further the story between the men with their storyline?
Uh, I guess that you know it uh, it is good in a way, because the fact is that yes, it also addresses the fact that what happened between Miro and Kip Sabian. So that also gets addressed at this point, and also that it also plants the seeds with regards to Kip Sabian versus Miro at a certain point of time soon enough, so that we it is fresh in our minds that Kip Sabian is an entity, and he would be wanting revenge, that to what happened to him, and with regards to what happened backstage with Miro and him. So he would be wanting revenge, so that also you know gets through with regards to this match, whatever happened in this whole match, and also what happened post match. So you know I guess that there was nothing wrong with how they booked this whole segment.
Mm, but how would you have book this? Like, who's going to be the baby face? Who's going to be the heel?
uh, I guess that they would be booking Kip Sabian possibly as a babyface, but
Mm,
at this point of time, that how uh, yes how this match ended, yet yes, obviously it put over Penelope Ford as the heel, but this point forward, I suppose that Kip Sabian would be the babyface. That uh, if you analyze what happened backstage between Miro and Kip Sabian, that what did Kip Sabian do wrong? You know, he Miro just fucking killed that guy only for the fact that he thought that he was dragging him down. He was, in a way, he was anchoring him down, so to speak. He wasn't able to uh, push forward and be the best. So he could have gotten away, he was not he mean Kip Sabian. He was not tired. He hadn't tired him up. He was not his master, so to speak. So he could have gotten away. He is his own person. So the backstage beatdown was uncalled for, so to speak, if you know think that way. So that could possibly give you a perspective that yes, possibly Kip Sabian is a babyface.
It's kind of confusing because as of now, Miro is a tweener because when he was in front of the live crowd, he was kind of getting a positive reaction and he was trying to portray as a baby face, but then he turns quickly turns into a heel. It's kind of
Yes,
confusing in that point of view.
yes, but the fact is that that is AEW as a whole. That if you ask them what is a heel and babyface scenario, then many a times they say that our wrestlers are real people and it is not real. Sorry, there is no heel or babyface. That is that you as a person, how do you react to the certain person, that is your reaction. So there is no heel or baby face with regards to our wrestlers.
But let's see, man, where they go because I'm kind of looking forward to that Brian Pillman's, you could say, experiment, and it's really paying off. Like they have already, gotten him over, which will automatically, get his team over the varsity blondes. So let's see where they go from here.
Yes.
But let's talk about this sweet, promo, sorry, video package, you could say, between Proud and Powerful and FTR, where we had, both teams talking about why they are the best tag team in the world. So they also said that both teams are kind of similar, but in also different in very many ways because both were brought up in different parts of the countries. Uh, Presentation of this video package was really great, trying to have the viewers have you invested emotionally here. Good stuff. And I could say that in all this inner circle pinnacle feud, this is your money feud, FTR versus Proud and Powerful.
Hmm. Yes, agreed. This video package was what you could say that we were wanting them to do, get us invested in these storylines or in this feuds. Yes, we were expecting this to happen, and now it is taking place. Obviously, so let's see what would happen. Possibly, this match would be booked for the pay-per-view. I suppose. So looking forward to it, and I suppose that it would be a barn burner. Absolutely.
And we could be having major implication for the next potential challenger for those AEW World Championship, sorry, or Tag Team Championship, I should say, and the guy
Yes.
that is actually going to take the title of the Young Bucks.
Yes. Possibly. Yes. Agreed.
Let's see, man, and
I do
let's
not, know as of now that who would be, winning this match. Possibly, Proud and Powerful would be winning. As FTR has already won the championship, and obviously they are the part of the Pinnacle, and we have seen in the recent weeks that Inner Circle is going over the Pinnacle in every sort of way. So possibly in this scenario, Proud and Powerful would be going over or LAX. But if they book, you know, many backstage interactions to get us invested, that would be fucking amazing.
let's say, man. Shall we finally get to the main event segment?
Yes.
So this was a six-man. So we had Matt Jackson and the Good Brothers facing Eric Kingston, Penta, El0M, and Frankie Kazarian. So the babyface team have all have a single goal, and that is to because they have problems with the super elite or the elite, you could say, because few weeks ago Pac was taken out, and then Phoenix was taken out. So now we are left with Kingston, Frankie Kazarian, and Penta El0M. And Frankie Kazarian is destined to take out all the members, and that you could say is now is officially a singles guy because of the SCU breakup a few weeks ago, thanks to the Young Bucks. So everything really makes sense here. And speaking about the six man, I think AEW really does a fine job having a, you could say, chaotic and entertaining six-man tag. So same thing here, but we had the usual shenanigans with the regarding the elite. So on commentary, so where Don Callis came up and said that Nick Jackson was out, they actually given him a time off, and he's out for doing some shit with modeling or something like that. He's a busy man, said Mr. Don Callis. But it was actually a ruse. As we get to the final parts of this match was really great. Everyone is interested. So the babyface team was actually going to win here, but here comes Nick Jackson with this cold spray. I think he sprayed Pentagon. So this allowed Carl Anderson to hit a flying neck breaker and pin Pentagon, and that was it. The elite win here. They get yet another one up on the baby faces, and that's basically it. So thoughts on all this we witnessed on the main event of Dynamite.
No, I thought that this was also, as you said, an entertaining match, so to speak. And, there was also at one point, Kazarian hit Matt Jackson with the angel swing. So that also, you could say that is teasing, possibly at, some point we could see, Christopher Daniels, uh, coming into the fray and creating some chaos in this whole feud. So let's see what happens in the future, if it is in the plans, so to speak, because as you said that the super elite were the reason that SCU, Kazarian and Daniels are not a tag team anymore. And uh, you already said that Pac and Phoenix have been taken out by the Super Elite. Moxley taken out indefinitely at Double or Nothing by 4 BT triggers by the Young Bucks. So right now, all these three competitors had a reason, as you said, to fucking kill these all guys. But you know at the end, obviously, the Super Elite got the victory. They would be getting, one up against, the, baby faces, so as to make sure that when there is a big match, booked for the pay-per-view or something like that, whenever there would be a possible title change or something like that, that then there would be the other team, then they would be winning. But right now it is just all Super Elite or the Bullet Club winning and getting away with every shenanigan in the book, just like Kenny Omega did at against all odds against Moose, that the Young Bucks got in the way and they
No,
super
no, no,
kicked the
no.
fuck out of him.
It was
And
not. It was not the Young
they
Bucks. It was not the Young Bucks. It was Generation Me.
oh I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Both are
I'm
different
sorry. It was
entities.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Generation Me. It was Generation Me. So the fact is that yes, you know, heel shit happening and good stuff. right now, heel guys getting heat, with heel shenanigans, people getting pissed off. Absolutely, that is the goal. You know, people getting pissed. So, you know, good shit.
And that is how Dynamite went off the air. Nothing much, but they really have stacked this upcoming two shows, live editions of Dynamite again. So it's basically their, send off tour for Dairy's Place. Like it's kind of a appreciation episodes, you could say, before, officially they go for those touring officially go touring cities again, different cities outside of Florida. But yeah,
Yes.
man. And also they are going to be, in New York in around July or August, I guess. I think it's August.
New York, it is, I guess it is September. New York. New York, it is September 22nd, possibly. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so they're running a big stadium. It's called,
Yes.
I'm actually forgetting the name.
Something Ash Stadium.
Ash, yes, something like that. And that's actually a big thing because it's one of their big shows in the New York market. And yeah, man, it's going to be a really big thing for AEW.
Yes.
And
Looking forward to that.
and people are already predicting that the hometown heroes should have a big impact on these shows. For example,
Hmm.
Private Party, Eddie Kingston, and Proud and Powerful, of course. But yeah, man.
Hmm. Let's see.
So that was Dynamite, Abby. And before we leave, where can these guys find you?
Guys, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at AbbeyManiac, and you can also support me on YouTube at AbbeyManiac.
You can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at Slamhub, debut Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling. And you can catch the audio versions on Anchor and Spotify as well. So this was the AEW Dynamite review, and we'll see you guys next time.